Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Chrisley reveals feelings on missing so much. Chrisley recently revealed how she feels about missing so many important days. Julie has been in prison for almost 14 months. She is currently serving a 6-year prison sentence. She and her husband Todd Chrisley are in prison for tax fraud. This has been a lot for her children, especially Savannah Chrisley. Savannah has had to take in her younger siblings Grayson and Chloe. She has also been fighting for her parents with the legal system. Julie Chrisley speaks out on anniversary. Todd and Julie Chrisley recently had their 27th wedding anniversary. Julie wrote a letter on this day. This had to be hard for Julie as she has not got to speak to her husband since being arrested. She is missing so much. Julie is missing out on a lot of important days that she cannot get back. She also revealed that Grayson is busy with baseball and that she hates missing his games and being there for him. However, he is doing good and she is supporting him from afar. Fans feel bad for their children as they did not do anything wrong and are having to survive without either of their parents. However, the older siblings are trying their best to be parental roles in their lives. This seems to be extremely hard on Julie as she just wants to be home with her husband and children. Since she is in prison as well, she has not gotten to speak to her husband since they were locked up. However, Savannah recently revealed she is hoping they will be home this summer. Julie Chrisley sat at the breakfast table, her gaze distant as she stared out the window. The late morning sunlight filtered through the kitchen blinds, casting a pattern on the table that once symbolized warmth and laughter. The Chrisley home had always been a place of energy, always bustling with the sounds of kids and grandkids, with Todd's boisterous voice filling every corner and her own quiet, steady presence acting as a comforting anchor. But now silence echoed in places where laughter once lived. Since her legal troubles had upended their lives, she had often found herself reflecting on all the precious moments that had slipped through her fingers. The birthdays, anniversaries, family dinners, even the lazy Sunday mornings that had once seemed so ordinary, they now felt like treasures she could never retrieve. The walls of their home, once overflowing with memories, had become silent witnesses to an unrelenting ache. Julie picked up her coffee mug, though the drink had long grown cold. She ran a finger along the rim, her thoughts drifting to the family moments she missed. For as long as she could remember, her life had been about her family. She'd always taken pride in being a mother, a wife, and a grandmother. Her heart ached thinking about how distant she felt from those roles now. It was always the small things that haunted her. She missed the little laughs Chloe let out when they watched cartoons together, the smell of freshly baked cookies wafting through the house while she and Savannah tried out new recipes. Julie had even grown nostalgic for the arguments between Todd and Chase, the playful ribbing, the harmless jabs that would end in laughter and a hug. These days, those memories felt like mirages, close yet unreachable, reminders of a world just out of her grasp. Todd's absence left a void that seemed even harder to navigate. They had built a life together, weathered storms side by side, always with the understanding that they would grow old together. But now they were separated by more than distance. She missed his jokes, his larger-than-life personality, the way he could bring levity to any situation. Even when things were hard, he'd always find a way to make her laugh. Now laughter felt like a distant memory, a sound that existed in a life she could no longer touch. Julie sighed, looking at the framed family photo hanging above the kitchen sink. In the picture, they were all huddled together, faces beaming with smiles, arms wrapped around each other. It was from a time when life was simpler, when the biggest concern was whether Chase was going to make it to college on time or if Grayson was going to break something with his endless energy. Now, each smile in that photo seemed to mock her, reminding her of everything she'd taken for granted. Sometimes Julie would find herself daydreaming about ordinary days. She would imagine waking up to the smell of Todd's coffee brewing in the kitchen, Chloe's little footsteps echoing down the hall, her tiny hand reaching up to hold Julie's as they prepared breakfast together. She missed the Sunday family dinners, with everyone gathered around the table, teasing each other and sharing stories from the week. Those dinners were a ritual, a testament to their bond, and now they felt like chapters in a book she could no longer read. The most painful part of it all was missing out on the milestones. She had missed Chloe's first day of school, the nerves and excitement that danced in her granddaughter's eyes. She missed Savannah's new ventures, the pride and determination in her daughter's voice when she talked about her future. Julie longed to be there for Chase and Grayson, to offer advice and guidance as they navigated adulthood. As their mother, she was supposed to be their rock, their constant support, but now she felt like a ghost, a distant presence watching from afar. Julie often grappled with feelings of guilt. She had always tried to teach her children the importance of honesty, integrity, and family. She built her life around those values, striving to set an example. And yet, here she was, physically separated from the very people she dedicated her life to. It felt like she'd failed them in some inexplicable way, and that thought kept her awake at night, replaying every decision that had led to this point. In her quieter moments, Julie would write letters to her children and grandchildren. She'd tell them about her memories, her regrets, her dreams for their future. She would pour out her love for them, trying to capture every bit of advice, every piece of wisdom she wished she could share in person. These letters were her way of staying connected, of letting them know that, even from a distance, her love was unwavering. But writing letters wasn't the same as being there. She missed holding Savannah's hand, the way her daughter would lean her head on Julie's shoulder whenever they shared a quiet moment. She missed the bare hugs Chase would give her, lifting her off the ground, making her feel like the most loved mom in the world. And Grayson, her baby, she missed the way he'd call her mom with that special tone, the way only he could. The hardest days were the holidays. Christmas was approaching, a time that had always been filled with joy and togetherness for the Chrisley family. They would decorate the tree together, each ornament holding a story, a memory from years past. Todd would put on his favorite Christmas sweater, Savannah would bake her famous sugar cookies, and Chloe would sing along to Christmas carols, her little voice filling the house with innocence and warmth. This year, though, the season felt hollow. Julie closed her eyes, trying to hold on to the memory of last Christmas, when they were all still together, blissfully unaware of what was to come. She could almost feel the warmth of Todd's hand in hers, the way he'd squeeze it gently during the quiet moments, as if to say, "We've got this." That squeeze had always been a reassurance, a silent promise that no matter what life threw their way, they would face it together. Now she could only hope that somehow her family felt her love across the miles that separated them. In the quiet of that kitchen, Julie made a promise to herself. Though she was missing so much, though the ache in her heart was ever present, she would hold on to hope. Hope that one day they would gather around the table again, filling the room with laughter and love. She would find a way to be there for her family, even if only in spirit, because family was forever, and no distance could ever truly separate her from the people she loved most. With that thought, Julie felt a flicker of peace. She took a deep breath, allowing herself to imagine the day when they would all be together again, and as she exhaled, a small smile graced her lips, a quiet acknowledgement that while she was missing so much, her love for her family was a constant, a light that would guide her through even the darkest days.